Okay, I thought today would be a good day to do a tour of the Porter Farm chicken house. Now, I know what you're thinking. This guy hadn't got one thing to do if he's doing a tour of a chicken house. But on the other hand, where does this put you? You're looking at the tour of the chicken house. Anyway, I had to build 3 of these over 30 years to get it right. And this is the one that I felt like was right. I'm standing about where number 2 was, and number 3, the first one, I don't even remember where it was. But anyway, I poured a slab, and I slanted the slab backwards so that the top of the floor is not flat. It slopes toward the back of the house. And we built 8 rooms, and each one, some are the same size, but some are bigger and some are smaller, and they have different purposes. And when we got through building this, we stood back and looked at it, and it sort of looked like one of those cheap country motels. You know, the kind you'd see in Mississippi or something. Well, it did sort of look like that. You know, 8 rooms, little bitty, not very deep. 8 doors, drive up. Yep, that's what we had. Cheap country motel. And so we named it the Early Bird Motel. We felt like it needed a sign that said that. And then some years back, my good friend Bruce Payne called me and said that he had a neighbor that had a child's playhouse in the backyard, and that they needed to get it removed, and that nobody had been able to get it moved. And so he wanted to know if I wanted a shot at it. It was free to whoever could move it. Well, I went over there and I measured this little playhouse, and I came home and I built a set of skids, and I went back over there and I jacked it up and slid those skids under it, and 2 minutes later it was winched on the trailer and rolling down the street to Porter Farm. And that's where it became the office to the cheap country Early Bird Motel. All country motels need a sign that says office, and it needs to be made clear whether there is a vacancy or not. And as you can see, this is a multi-purposed sign, vacancy. And the green paint on my fingers, I'm painting another project, and I didn't know that it was there. This became the office to the motel, or the feed room. And inside here, you'll see that we have all of the equipment associated with chicken house. These top doors up here contain little small waterers and little cup feeders and things. And we keep some extra sawdust over here, and oyster shells in that tin garbage can, and some various feed and things. And so that's the office to the Early Bird Motel. Here we go. We're going to go in some of the rooms here. This first room is pen number 1. It starts down at this right and moves to the left. That makes good sense, doesn't it? But inside here, we call this the pen of pens. And right here where this guinea pig material is, this supplies for him, that area right there was designed to be where a brooder would go. And when we're hatching, when we have the incubators going and we have baby chicks, the next step that they do is come to the brooder. And since we have a couple of incubators, the first set would go to the brooder, and then as they get larger, the second set might hatch, and then they would go to the brooder, and then the brooder ones would move out to these other pens, which are empty at this time. And these other pens right here, so they move through the system in these pens, one to the next, and around here to the next, and so on until you get into general population. Right in here is the guinea pig. Belongs to my grandson. He misbehaved evidently at home. I don't know his name. I just call him Guinea Pig. But he's been here for a while, and it's still a little cool for him, so we have an assist. There he is. I don't know his name. He had a buddy named Rufio or Russo or something, but this one I don't know the name of, and that's his little house and his food bowl and his automatic drinker back there. All of the pens that we have automatic feeders and automatic waterers. And the way they work is it's a pressurized system, a low pressure system, and it's called the Hart cup system. And this is, let me zoom back out, that was crazy. Okay. This right here is a Hart cup with junk in it. And this screws into the water pipe right here, the supply. And then this little yellow part right here under pressure stays up. And when a chicken gets thirsty, he taps his beak on that and it fills this little cup up with water. And then when the cup fills up with water and he doesn't tap anymore, the little valve closes off there in the back and seals it off from continuing to just overflow. Anyway, it's been real successful. Those are a little hard to find now. The company went out of business, but anyway, we have a little Porter Farm egg business. We have one commercial account, which is a country store, and then we have people that come by on the honor system and get their eggs out of the cooler in the pavilion. And here we have nest boxes. These nest boxes were given to me by my old friend Bob Bitzer. I used to work for him when I was about 10 or 12 years old. He had an egg farm, a chicken farm, and when he shut it down, he still had all this equipment. And when I decided I wanted a chicken house, I went and he said, just help yourself. And these usually have 14 holes, and so what I did was we didn't need 14 holes in a pen that's 8 by 8, so I cut them in half and made them all smaller. Here we have an automatic feeder, and each pen has two waterers. And they're for some reason nervous. And here we have a few eggs in this one. And I don't know when they were gathered last, but hadn't been too long ago. We'll move out of this one and down to the next pen. Each one of these has its own light and an extra plug in the top if you need to hang a heat lamp or anything like that down. And the height of the feeders are adjustable according to the size of the chickens that you have in there. And there's a perch in every one, I think. Next pen, more chickens. Doesn't look like we have a rooster in here. Maybe we do. I think if that's him, he's lost his tail, and probably one of the girls has put the whooping on him. Anyway, we've got a couple of more little eggs here and there that are still doing. They're just all kinds of chickens here. We don't have any particular kind that we like better than another one. We have them mixed so that we get both brown and white eggs. Now, here's the next one. Here's a big old rooster in here. He's got some spurs on him. He can hardly walk. And I don't know what he needs them for, but anyway, two waterers, one there, and then here's a tall one down there. This one's for tall chickens. And there's one of the ladies now who's upset with me for coming in here. You can see that she's been taking care of business. All right. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. This is some younger ladies in this next pen. These are called red sex-linked chickens, which means that when they're born, they can tell the sex of them, whether they're going to be a rooster or whether they're going to be a pullet or a hen. And so they're real easy to tell. It's not so easy to sex chickens. And these are pretty big egg layers here. They're see one down here, one lonesome egg down there. But anyway, here we go to the next pen. Now, the next pen are white black-tailed Japs. They are Bantam chickens, Banty chickens, and they are really good setters. We no longer have a rooster in this pen, so they think that they're setting. And what we have here is we have two setting on one set of eggs, and what they're setting on are peacock eggs. You can see that these eggs are a good bit bigger than the, she's saying, come on, I dare you, stick your hand in here. Well, I think we'll just go ahead and do it. Look at her pecking at me. And under there, we have another one and some eggs back in there that are being set on. Or mad, hacked off, but she'll be back in about 1 minute. Here we go to the next pen. This is our wild game pen. And in here we have yellow, red golden pheasants, and that's isn't he magnificent? And there's a pheasant hen right there. We have quail, bobwhite quail, and these are actually I think they call them Big Georges or something like that. That's the variety. And there's a dove. We have doves. The doves hang to themselves, and they pretty much hang up here. They have their own little nest box up there and their own little perch, and they don't associate with the low life down here. But anyway, they get along good, and they eat a different kind of feed from the rest. And in the back of each of these pens, underneath the waterer, each waterer is a weep hole that goes out the back of the building, so that if you have a pipe freeze or anything like that and you have a flood, it doesn't flood the whole place. It just runs out the back of the building. And this is another pen. Some lay white, some lay brown. They're just all mixed up. But and that's a big old egg back in there, that white one. What we have here is the water system coming into the building, and that hose that goes out the hole in the building right there to the outside, that goes to our washdown hose, which has got a kind of a fireman's nozzle out there, and you can turn that on and wash off the front porch or whatever. Anyway, what we have here, let me see if I can't zoom out. Nope, zoom out all I can. That comes up, and we have our, since we're on a farm, and the Bear Creek Water Association has been other than cooperative. We're on our own water well, and so if our lights go out, if the power goes out, so does the water, until we can get the tractor over there and hook up the generator and get everything going again. But in either case, if something happens, if we have a leak or anything, this pipe up there, we would abandon this route right here, and you can see that we run about 6 pounds of pressure. We abandon this route right here that has the water going down and through the entire building all the way down to the other end, where it can go out the other hose on that end of the building. And if we do have a leak or something, we shut this part, this lower part off, and now we route the water up and into a tank up here, a holding tank. And I'm going to add some water in that holding tank. You can probably see it filling up a little bit there. And we keep that as a safety. We just washed it out. That's the reason that it's empty right now. But we normally keep about 15 gallons of water in that, and that'll last a day or so, but until we, give you enough time to. Chickens drink a lot of water, and they freak out if they don't have a whole lot of access to water. I'm not going to wait on that, but we can turn that on right there, and it comes down. And you turn this valve off, and this valve on, and now the water, the old system water stops here, and the water from the tank comes and goes down, and now you're on the gravity-fed system. And this right here is so that you can drain the tank out. It goes out the back of the building, the side of the building right here. But anyway, that's what we have, and the horses don't bother it much. They come up here and look in sometimes, but nobody seems to care a whole lot. And there we go, pretty much a tour of the Porter Farm chicken house. Most everybody out here participates in the duties of the chicken house, and we clean it out several times a year, and if you clean it out kind of often, it doesn't get too bad. So anyway, that's pretty much the end of the movie. I know it was exciting. It was for me. It was great. There you go. End of the story, and say goodbye to the Early Bird Motel. See you on YouTube, maybe on Facebook. Bye-bye.